Alright, so let's talk about how to camp at Camp 4, like how to get a spot. So the first thing you want to think about is there's basically like 2 seasons. You're gonna have summer and then you're gonna have winter. So which one are you coming in? If you're coming like April to September, that's pretty much summer. Everything else, October through March, that's basically winter. So the reason you need to know that is because there's either going to be a ranger where you have to register to get a spot, or if you're coming in the winter, then you're going to do self-registration. So one more time, just to reiterate that, if you are coming April through September-ish, there's probably going to be a ranger at this little kiosk that I'm about to show you. If you're coming October through March, you're going to do self-registration. Alright, so let's start with parking. There definitely is a parking lot for Camp 4. It's going to be that road right over there. Oh look, perfect, car. There's a turn in right here. So that's kind of like one of the main roads in Yosemite. And then you've got this huge old parking spot over here. And this is where everyone who camps at Camp 4 is gonna park. So, parking spot right here. There is where you are either there's going to be a ranger there, or that is still the same place where you're gonna do self-registration. So, you're gonna walk up this little pathway and go to that kiosk right there. And little side note, so if you're coming in the summer and you're going to need to register when there is a ranger at that kiosk right there, this area where there's these big logs kind of like leading up to the kiosk, all up in there, people start forming a line. Okay, technically, like, I think the rules are that the ranger comes at 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. every day so that you can register, right? But the rules say that you can start getting in line at 6 a.m. However, I have been here twice in summer where the line started forming at like 4 a.m. and I have also heard that some people will kind of like camp there overnight. I've seen people post up with like camping chairs and just all kinds of stuff. So summer is definitely a little bit more difficult, and sometimes you're gonna have to wait in a really long line to get that all settled. So again, just to double check, because this can be kind of crazy, this is usually where the line will start, which is nice because you've got somewhere to sit. I mean, if you're waiting in line. And if you're not coming in the summer, if you're coming in the winter, you're still gonna go to the same place. So you're still gonna walk up right here. Again, super close to the parking lot. Okay, quick things to note. Photo ID required, cash only, and this is like the window that you would go up to if the ranger was here. So in the winter time, it has the self-registration sign. So you're literally just going to come over to this side. Oh, even if this says camp full but self-register, that doesn't necessarily mean the camp is full. So what you can do is you can come over here, and there is a light that turns on, motion sensor. So that's awesome, even if you're here, like if you get here at 4 o'clock in the morning and need to register. So this is kind of the station that you're gonna need to be around if you're doing self-registration. This is what you're gonna do first. You're gonna take one of these, and you're gonna have to fill this out. Then you're gonna take one of these. There's actually none in there right now. So this is what you get out of here. Is gonna go on your vehicle. I'll show you the one I filled out already. I'll just kind of insert that here. So here's that thing that was missing from when I was showing you guys. This is what you put on your car, on your rear view mirror. And then this, so it's like you get a bear locker, so you fill in like your locker number, your name, your tent description, your vehicle description, because they're like pretty strict about like parking and everyone having like an actual spot. So anyways, that's just kind of like the info that you're gonna get over there. So the order that I recommend doing this: taking one of these, taking one of these, and then heading out there, because at the self-registration point, all you're gonna do is walk around, and you need to find a place where there's room for your tent and there's an empty bear locker. They have pens here, so once you find a spot out there and an empty bear locker, you can either fill this out with you or like just fill this out here, because they've got pens. So this is the envelope. This is what you fill out. Fill out the back side too. Man, can't rent this thing. Okay. There we go. You keep this side. The actual envelope part. Here's where you're gonna put your money in there. $6 per person per night. So put your money in there. Seal this up. Right here. You're gonna take the money and this will all be filled out. Remember, the back is empty because this is the part that was on the back. Yeah, I'm just gonna put that right in there. So I'm not gonna put that in there because I obviously haven't filled that out yet, but you drop that in there. Then you go to this sheet and you fill out the same stuff. You put what spot you got or what locker, your name, and all your info. And then, then you take this, you fill all of this out too, and you attach this to your tent with this little thing. So this needs to be on your tent. Okay, so after you handle all of that at that little kiosk, you are free to go back. There's like a little trail or whatever. There's one here. There's also one that goes that way, like through the middle of the campground. You can take your stuff and go post up. The trail that you can follow to get to the campgrounds. Yeah, literally not far away at all. Here's all the camping. It goes like pretty far back, but again, so here's the camping, here's the trail. I'm on it right now. Turn around, look, you can even see the parking lot behind these trees. There's the kiosk right there. There's just like a little information station and the rest of the parking lot. So it's like super close. Also, just a little side note, there are restrooms at Camp 4. They only have cold water. They do have mirrors. There's the men's restroom, the women's restroom, and in the middle right there is where you can get some potable water. So this is kind of like a general little camping area setup. Everything has one picnic table, one fire pit. Those are the bear lockers, so those are what you're going to be looking for. You need to find an empty one of those, and then like a general area to be able to set up your tent and everything. And as for that paper, some people will tie it on a little string to their tent. Some people will put it in a little stake. Can you see that right there? On their tent, you know, just wherever you can figure out where to put it. So in all honesty, the way that I found it to be the easiest to get a spot at Camp 4, because like you could literally just, okay, two ways I guess. You could go around looking through the bear lockers and try and find one that's empty, like with your spot, because they're really strict about that, like the whole bear locker thing. Or like what I will usually do is I will just get here early in the morning, and when the sun starts to come up, you know, people are packing up their stuff and they're getting ready to leave. So I'll just kind of like do a walkthrough and be like, hey, excuse me, like, are you leaving? And they'll just be like, yeah, okay, I'm leaving. So then you're like, okay, I'll take your spot. So then, I don't know, it goes really fast. It's a lot easier than having to like open people's lockers or try and go find one that's like empty, at least in my opinion. I think you could easily do that too, and like it would totally work. But for me, I just walked through and was like, asked people if they're leaving.